Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be on in just a second, but please, while I'm getting my last bits and bobs set up, let me know how everything sounds. Is my voice too loud? Is it too quiet? Is the music too loud in the background? Just let me know. Or is the music too quiet? Can you barely hear the music? Just let me know in the comments. Also, if you can hear me in general in the chat, please put an emoji of a frog, because we're making frogs today. And I just want to make sure people can hear me. All right, guys. Well, we're going to be on in just a moment. In the meantime, we're voting right now on what our first mini itty-bitty frog should be for today's stream. We're going to be making a bunch of frogs and a brand new pattern. I'm very excited. It's all right. Well, I want it to be perfect, Ariana. So let me know. Should it be a little louder? A little quieter? All right. Well, we're getting a bunch of frogs in the chat, so seems like things are a-okay. But just keep me in the loop, and we'll be going in just a moment. I'm getting the patterns all prepped for myself right now. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. Well, that was a weird transition, but hello, everybody. Hello, welcome to the stream. Look at how clean and beautiful this background is. Isn't that great? Hello, everybody. Hope you had a great week. I had a pretty good week. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, all things considered, the world's kind of a little wild and crazy, but it was, you know, feels like that's just every day now. So let's chill out and crochet. All right. So today we are crocheting some frogs, and we're gonna make a brand spanking new crochet pattern on the stream today. Oh, here we go. Here's our plan for today. Look at that, I wrote it all out and everything. So we're gonna start by crocheting a little miniature frog. Then we're gonna make a brand new pattern for a lily pad coaster. I have a tutorial on the website for how to make lily pads, but I've never made a coaster out of a lily pad, and I thought that would be really fun. So that's what we're gonna do today, is we're gonna design a new pattern for a lily pad coaster. I don't anticipate it's gonna be that different than the design that we already have on the website, but I do think we need to make a few adjustments here and there. Then we are going to make a custom frog based on the chat's suggestions. And then if we have enough time, we're also going to make a little flower to go on the lily pad. Maybe make some other frogs to go with it. Sound good? I think it sounds pretty good. I think it sounds pretty good. All right, well, before we get hooking today, let's talk about all the things that you need. And then we'll talk about how you can support this channel. And then we'll get finally hooking and cooking. To start, all the things that you need. So we're going to be crocheting all in worsted weight yarn 100% cotton today. You can use any kind of yarn you want. In fact, I think a big old blanket yarn frog would be really, really cute, and I'd love to see it. So if you crochet something today, no matter what you use, please share a picture with us. You can share it on Instagram or at Club Crochet. You can share it on the website. You can post a picture now of your finished projects if you scroll to the very bottom of a pattern, there is a community showcase now, so you can post a picture of what you've completed on the pattern. Speaking of, if you want to crochet the pattern today, it is completely free. You can find it at clubcrochet.com/frog, or you can just go to clubcrochet.com/woods. That's where you can find our full Woolly Woods seasonal patterns, and scroll down, you can find the frog pattern. It's a totally free pattern. It's available on the website. The yarn we're going to be using today, outside of using worsted weight cotton yarn, we're going to be using colors based on the chat's suggestions. So hello chat out there, hello. Hey Johan, hey Amber, hey Kristen, hey Autumn, hey Tina, hey Cooper, hey Zoe. Hello everybody. Hey Doofus Adventures. I like that name. In fact, before we started, I even saw someone from the Netherlands out there, which was really cool. So yeah, hello everybody out there in the chat. Thank you for joining today. So yeah, you can get the pattern at clubcrochet.com/frog. We're going to be using colors based on the chat's suggestions. We're voting right now on what our first mini frog will be, which we're going to start in just a moment. You can choose between sage green, that's our classic color. You can choose purple. That's actually the one I voted on. You could choose blue, or you could choose orange. So go ahead and vote now in the chat. We're going to be closing that vote up in just a moment as we get started crocheting. But before we get there, let me finish talking about all the other materials that we need. So outside of the yarn, we're also going to be using a crochet hook, of course. I'm using a size G 4mm crochet hook. It's just my favorite size hook to use with worsted weight cotton yarn. So that's our hook size today. We're going to be using a pair of scissors for cutting stuff and a needle for sewing in hard to reach stitches. I'm just going to be using this blue needle because why not? These are all available in the shop, by the way, a great way to support this channel, which we'll talk about more in a second too. You also need some safety eyes. I have literally, I think, one bottle of eyes in the shop left. So if you want to get a bottle of eyes, I believe there's one left in the shop, but I'm not totally sure. We're going to be using 6mm eyes today, at least for a mini frog. And then the bigger frog, I think it's going to be based on the chat. So we're going to be voting on that. Based on the chat. Hello from Brazil in the chat. Hi, that's pretty cool. Wow. Hi, that's way awesome. Okay, so that's all the materials you're gonna need. You also need some stuffing. I'm also gonna be using some super strong neodymium magnets. They look kind of like this. We're gonna be doing that, using those in the bottom of our frogs to make them so they're sticky, so they can stick to things. I think it'd be really cool with the lily pad coaster too. I was thinking maybe we could crochet 2 pieces of a lily pad together and put magnets in the middle so that we can put those little frogs and they'll sit on the lily pad and they won't go anywhere. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll get to that a little later. Hello from Poland. Oh my gosh. We got Denmark, we got Poland, we got Brazil, we got the Netherlands. Hello everyone out there. That is so cool. Wow. Hey, can everybody in the chat that is from a different country and speaks a different language, could you tell me how to say hello in your native tongue? That would be really cool. I'd really like that. In fact, if you could put phonetically how to say it as well, like how it's spelled and then how to say it phonetically, so I can say it correctly, that would be really cool. I always like learning different languages. I'm a big fan of languages, so that would be really cool. I know that. Hola from Spain. Okay, well, let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about in the materials? I think that's it. Oh, black thread. You might want some black thread. I'm actually going to be using black yarn that we're going to split into black thread, which I put out, and then I lost. Oh, there it is. Hello in Polish. I love that. How do you say hello in Canadian? We're going to be using black yarn, and we're going to split it for our thread for the mouths. Jacek? Hi from Britain. I wonder how British people say hello. Zek in Polish. I think I said that right. Zek. In Denmark, we say hej or monj. Monj. How are you now? Wait, how are you now? In Canadian. All right, that's how you say hello in Canadian. Thanks, Zoe. Okay, so that's everything we're going to need. Let's talk about how you can support this channel as we get crocheting our first froggy. So let me go ahead and end the vote right now. for what color our first frog's gonna be. Ooh, all right, we're making a sage green frog. Cool. Okay, while I make our sage green frog, if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see for our bigger frog that we make a little bit later, there is a link at the top of the chat where it says suggest a vibe for us to customize our frogs with. Go ahead and go to that. It's a community post on our YouTube channel, and you can go in there and comment what you want a vibe to be. A vibe can be anything. It could be witchy, it could be nerdy, it could be blurple, whatever. Throw a vibe in there. I'm going to choose my 4 favorites, and then we're going to vote on those later on in the stream. Okay, but we're making a sage green mini frog first. So we'll go ahead, grab this sage green yarn. And while I crochet our sage green yarn, let's talk about all the ways you can support this channel if you would like to. So this channel is completely supported by its community. So if you are a community member, first off, thank you so much for just being here in general, but also thank you for supporting this channel. You can support this channel in a whole bunch of different ways. You can support for completely free. If you'd like to support for free, all you need to do that would be like this video down below, subscribe to the channel. Oh, look at this. We found a knot in our yarn. Subscribe to the channel down below. Hit the little bell icon so you don't miss it when we come out with new videos like these live crochet alongs. We do live crochet alongs, we pretty much do it every single week. I usually do them on Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I've kind of been switching that up every now and then, and I'd like to start doing some different days later on. So if you don't want to miss our live crochet alongs, all you need to do is subscribe down below and hit the little bell icon. That way you don't miss it when we go live. Other ways to support for free, we have an Instagram, and a TikTok, and a Facebook, and a YouTube, obviously. There's a whole bunch of places where you can follow us. I even have a subreddit, which you can find. Ooh, for some reason, Cooper's links are not being clickable. Huh, they're clickable from my side. I'm not sure why, but Cooper's links are not clickable. If you need to find any of the links, there should be then in the description, but I don't know. Oi! From Brazil. Okay, let's keep going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's the way you can support for free. If you want to help support monetarily, wow, thank you. That means a whole lot to me. That's really cool of you. There are a bunch of ways you can support monetarily. The best way to support monetarily is probably with a Club Crochet membership. Members get early access to future patterns. They get access to the exclusive library of tutorials like the ones we're making right now. There's a full-length video for every... Hey, look at that. I'm growing a crochet blister. Isn't that cute? Wow. There is a whole bunch of patterns on the website that are available with Club Crochet memberships, including the one we're making right now. You get access to the entire library by becoming a Club Crochet member. And we're actually changing the membership system in a little bit, but we are grandfathering in everybody that had a membership before we make the change next month. So if you want to become a Club Crochet member, now is legitimately the best time to become a Club Crochet member. Not only does it help support the channel a lot, but you get a lot back for your membership. Our newest patterns in the library for Club Crochet members, I mean, we've kind of been making a lot of them, from little gnomes and little frogs to Bigfoot, and now our newest pattern that we just added was a collaboration pattern that we made with Sir Pearl Grey, who crocheted this adorable firefly. Look how cute. This is Flicker the Firefly, a new pattern in the library, which you can, again, find on the website, clubcrochet.com. It's part of our Woolly Woods season. This is a whole season all about woodland critters and creatures. We kind of try to change the season up every now and then, and the next season's going to be starting in about a month. I still have a lot of setup to do, so I might end up pushing that back a little bit, but I will obviously keep you in the loop. Okay, so that's probably the best way to support with the membership, but you can support a whole bunch of other ways. We have merch and kits in the store. We have a whole lot of different merch, from t-shirts to stickers to pins. I really like the pins. This is our Bigfoot Bobby pin from this season, but there's a whole bunch of other ones. We got this cute little rainbow yarn ball. This is our logo in rainbow colors. Really love that one. I'm really proud of the colors, that like the way that I made the rainbow there. Most of these pins are designed by myself, by the way, but I do work with other collaborators every now and then, like my friend Dominic Rientes, who you can find online. He's the one that made all of our dinosaur pins. So yeah, check them all out. They're all available on our website, clubcrochet.com. I'm working on some new merch, hopefully coming soon. I've been kind of slacking just a little bit, but I'll get better. I promise. I promise. So yeah. Check back in soon. I'll obviously keep you updated on live streams and stuff when I do come out with new merch. Oof. Then there's also kits available with all the materials you need to make anything that we're making in the season. This season, our Woolly Wood season, had a whole bunch of materials. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of this little blister that is bugging me. Hold on. I'm just gonna rip it off like a psychopath. Yeah, that's right. Wow, I'm crazy. Crazy. Look at that fresh skin. Yum. Listen, I'm not that weird. Okay, I'm pretty weird, but that's okay. That's okay, right? Right? I think that's okay. All right, we are rocking and rolling, by the way, on our little mini frog. We're actually, I would say, maybe about halfway already. This is one of our Amigurumi patterns. This is a series of designs that I've been creating, where you crochet a pattern in less than 100 stitches with no sewing at all. So I'm really proud of these designs, and this little mini frog is no exception. It's very simple, but super duper cute and really easy to make. As you can tell, I've been doing this while I'm chatting, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so let's see, where was I? We talked about different ways you can support this channel monetarily, which you're gonna go do because you rock and I love you, and that's amazing. Let's see. Kits and merch, whole bunch of patterns. I guess that's the gist. Chat, let me know if I'm forgetting anything. I can always count on the chat to help out. Hello, we got some newbies here. So hello, Charlie and Nikki. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great day. Chat, shout out. What are you making today? Anybody else crocheting? What are you crocheting if you are crocheting? If you're not crocheting, then what you doing? You cooking? What are you cooking? Let us know. Let us know. Normal is boring. I agree. I prefer being a little goblin. Pretty much obsessed with crocheting goblins as normal. Oh, I know what's been new this week. One new thing for me this week has been the Nintendo Switch 2. I have been playing too much Mario Kart. Yeah, definitely been playing a little too much Mario Kart, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? A new video game comes out, you know I'm gonna play that too much. I'm gonna turn the music down just a teensy bit. Monterey, California. Love Monterey. Love, big fan of Monterey. Love otters. That's what Doofus is crocheting, I guess, is otters. I think so. 1, 2, I lost track of where I was. That's what happens when you don't use a stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, and then a mini bobble from the stitch above. You got it. You got it, Past Lou. Stitcher is crocheting a rooster for their parents. That's so cute. That's sweet. A rooster. There we go. That mini bobble wanted to fight us, but I said no. I will win this battle. And then a bump right here. Square Kitty is crocheting a teddy bear. Super cute. Fizzle Sweets is making chicken jockey from Minecraft. That's funny. Massive pine cone bag with the 15mm hook. Loving it. Thanks. You are very welcome, Crowseed. That is super cool. Can I see a picture? I want to see a picture of that really bad. Wait, hold on just a moment. Is it really not 2 stitches between legs here? There's supposed to be a second leg right here. And then one, and then right there. Yes, okay, you're right. You're right, Past Lou. I don't know why I ever question you. I don't know why I ever question you, Past Louie. Oh, because you make mistakes? Well, don't tell anybody about that. Beautiful weather in where you at, doofus. And hey, I'm not calling them a doofus. Their name is literally Doofus. It is beautiful weather here in Southern California. Hopefully I can finish this stream before the sun goes away. That would be nice because I have not gone outside yet. And I would like to go outside. It is toasty in here though, so I gotta turn the air conditioning on in just a moment. But check this out. We are already just about done with our little frog. We just need to add a little face to it. And that's pretty cool if you ask me. So let's start by adding some safety eyes. And then we'll sew on a mouth. And then we'll crochet a lily pad together. I have my whole setup right here. There's like a secondary camera right above the camera. And that way I can record the tutorial horizontally. And we're going to record the tutorial live today. Which means I'm going to go into my recording mode. I think it might be a kind of a fun thing to watch, honestly, because I don't know. I would enjoy that. I'll be talking to chat still, but I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do a live tutorial with y'all, show you the kind of behind the scenes a little bit. And again, I don't know what, I've not made one of these lily pad coasters before. I am going to utilize the lily pad pattern on the website a little bit, but this is going to be off the cuff, so please bear with me. If I make any mistakes, I might go back, I might blah. But I don't anticipate it's going to be too tough, to be completely honest. But we'll see. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we got our eyes in there. I just kind of like put them in willy-nilly, and I think they look perfectly froggy, looking a little bit in both directions, which is nice. And then let's add a mouth. We're just going to keep the mouth relatively simple for our first frog here. Like these. Like these. Let's see what else has been going on this week in the Louis-verse. Lots of crocheting. I just got done yesterday recording a brand new tutorial for the website. Some of the people on the live stream know exactly what I'm talking about because I made it. I think I showed it off last stream what the new pattern's going to be. It's really cute. I am really proud of it. And maybe I'll show you at the end of the stream. We're actually looking for testers right now too. So if you'd like to try to test this pattern out and you have been part of Club Crochet before, then you should have gotten an email this morning from me about today's live stream. In that email, there is a link to help me test a brand new pattern. And I'm looking for just a few testers to just make sure everything's all the stitches are in the right place. It's a really cool pattern, and I'm pretty confident that everything is in the right place because I've tested it myself a lot, and I tested it with someone else. But I just want to be absolutely certain before I hit go that it has all the bells and whistles in the right place. So if you are interested in testing, please consider checking that email out. If you didn't get the link to that email, or you haven't joined our email list, you should join our email list. All you need to do to join the email list is create an account on the website, clubcrochet.com. Thank you, Lammy. I also love that adding little magnets in my crochet. I think it is super duper fun, and it just gives all of my crochet suddenly a lot more usefulness because now I can hide them in places, or I can put them on my shoulder, or I don't know. I guess those are the main things. There's other stuff. We can make them riding a firefly. Oh my gosh, let me show you. If you weren't here last live stream, let me show you what we made last stream because it was so cool and had the perfect name. I'm going to be posting a YouTube short about it tomorrow. All right, so we just finished the last stitch there for our little itty bitty frog, by the way. I just need to stuff it and sew it closed. But before I do that, let me grab our little... You know what? Actually, two birds, one stone here. Let's finish our little frog here, and then I'll show you the firefly with some little magnets in it so that our little frog can ride it. We need a little bit of stuffing, not very much. It's probably good. And we probably want our crochet hook that I threw on the floor because I have a tendency to throw things away. Being done, I'm done. Stuffing things in the Louie verse. Hello. Oh, yes, that's right. Other Louie. Hello, Other Louie. Love that there's a double Louie going on right now. There should always be two Louies. Always be two Louies. I just love that you also go by Louie. You know, is your name what's your actual name? Is it Louis? Because that's my like name is Louis, but I go by Louie, which is what my grandpa went by too. I'm named after my grandpa, and personally, I really like going by Louie. So I'm actually gonna add one more magnet into this, and I believe off camera here I'm testing it out on our firefly. So we're going to go this way, like that. I'm pretty certain. Hold on, let me check one more time. Yeah, okay, we're good. So that's the bottom. Boop. All right, now let's sew this together. Oh, I just remembered one way you can support this channel if you would like to. You do not have to, but it would be great. You can support by tipping. If you want to tip, there is a little button in the corner of the chat with a little dollar icon. If you tip for any amount, I'll put something out on screen. I'll put a little crochet in the background here for you to say thank you. And yeah, it would be really great. You don't have to at all, but it would be nice if you could. For some reason, Jules is trying to share a video with me by accident, I think. All right, we're going to pull that closed and finish sewing together our itsy bitsy froggy. Let's cut it close. And there we go. Our first itty bitty frog is finished for today. Wow, wow, wow. Look at how cute that is. Too cute. I think it could use a little butt crack. Let's go ahead and add a butt crack because why not? Why not? We can, because we can. So, oop, and scoop. Like that. We'll go down like this. Ba-doop-a-dee. There we go. Okay. That looks like a butt crack to me. Yeah. He's got big butt. It's mostly butt. As all frogs should be. Mostly butt. Alright. Now let's add him to our little firefly. Here's our frog again. Butt crack and all. And then here's our little firefly from last week. Melatonin. Our insomniac firefly. He's got a little tiny magnet in his back so that things can ride him. And they should stick to it. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh my god, these are the perfect pair. Look at how cute you two are. Also, his butt is has a this is all glow in the dark yarn, so it actually glows in the dark, which is pretty cool too. So there's our little frog. We'll go ahead and put that right there. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's get crocheting our tutorial for today. So if you want to crochet along with me, that would be super cool. You definitely, absolutely don't have to. I'm going to get into tutorial mode here, and we're going to crochet us a lily pad. And we're going to use, what color do you think we should use, chat? I'm thinking we use 30 Fridays until Christmas? Wow, that is an interesting stat to keep track of, Lainey. I like it. Okay. I would use teal, but I think it kind of gets lost in this background, right? I could use dark green. What do you think? Dark green? This is all the dark green I have. I hope it's enough. All right, let's try it. Let's try the dark green one. Okay, let's start the video. We're just gonna jump right into the tutorial. This is how I'm gonna hit play here. We're gonna record our tutorial now for our lily pad coaster. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the whole behind the scenes look here at how I record my video tutorials. Usually the way I record my video tutorials, I have a camera right here, right there, that is recording everything. I usually just jump right into the pattern and then I do the intro and outro later. So I'm gonna do the intro and outro after this, after the live stream. What we're making though is we wanna make a coaster that can fit a normal cup. So we wanna make a big coaster that's gonna fit this. I've made lily pads in the past, so I'm not like too worried about it, but let me pull up my old lily pad pattern to get just a remember. Aha, yes, you 6 and then you connect and then you don't connect and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. All right, so we're gonna start this pattern with a magic loop. If you don't know how to do the magic loop, I'm gonna show you a quick tutorial, but you don't really need this tutorial. I have a video that I'll link up here that goes through all the bits and bobs about how to make a magic loop. You want to have the yarn facing downwards towards the ground, pinch it with your middle finger and thumb, and then take this little tail end here and place it between your ring finger and pinky finger. And we're going to go around our index finger and middle finger 2 times. We want to create an X on the front towards you and 2 parallel lines on the back away from you. Then you take this end attached to the ball and you place it between your ring and pinky finger. And that's going to be the start of our magic loop. Now we're going to take our crochet hook, we'll go under this first bar and then hook onto the second one. Pull that second bar under the first one and then loop it around like that. It creates a little loop at the end of your crochet hook. Now you want to go over that first bar and hook onto the second one. I find it's easiest to kind of guide it over your finger with your, or guide the yarn over your hook with your finger. Then you want to pull that loop through the loop that you had on your hook to create a chain, and that should lock everything into place. All right. For round 1 of our lily pad coaster that I'm making from the top of my noggin, we're going to start by single crocheting 6 times into the magic loop. That's usually how I like to start my crochet projects, is I usually start with 6 single crochets into the magic loop. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail in this tutorial for how to do things like a single crochet. So if you want to learn how to make a single crochet, try a more simplified pattern like our pet rock pattern or our 101 tutorials you can find at crocheting101.com. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches in the magic loop. Let's get some yarn in an alternative color. Here, we'll use a little bit of this sage green, and we're going to use this as our stitch marker. I'm going to cut it relatively short, not like too short, but just short enough where we can use it to keep track of our stitches. And we're just going to place that right into the center of our magic loop, like that. And then we're going to take the tail end of the magic loop right here and just pull it nice and tight, and it'll tighten around that yarn. All right. We're just going to fold that over our piece, and that's going to help us keep track of where the ends of the rounds are. It'll just make our life a little bit easier later on. Okay, so we fold this over and continue on to round 2. Okay, so for round 2, I think this is how we're going to do this. We're going to start by connecting our piece with a slip stitch. So we're going to go into the very first stitch that we made right here. You want to make sure that you're under both of those loops like that. And we want to make a slip stitch. For a slip stitch, we're going to yarn over with the end attached to the ball and pull it through the stitch and then through the loop on the hook like that, and it's going to connect it together. And then we'll chain 1. So we're going to yarn over and pull through for a chain, and then I'm actually going to flip my piece around, which if you've been a fan of my channel a lot, you'll know that it's not normally how I do my crochet. I usually don't flip my pieces around like that. But for this pattern, I think it's going to be really helpful later on. We'll just hide this other green yarn in a little bit later too. All right, so for round 2, let's increase it up. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch that we made in our last round. We're actually going to skip that first slip stitch that we made right here. We're going to skip over that and start into the next one over. So we're going to go into that next stitch over right here, and we're going to do 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2 for our first one, and 2 like that. And by doing an increase into every stitch around, you should increase up from 6 to 12 stitches around. And while I make those increases, let's say hi to the chat. Hello, live chat. Hello, 123 friends and Jama. How are you doing today? Hope you guys are having a great day. If you in the chat have any questions about what we're doing here, or need any more clarity, please let me know in the chat. And then also, if you're watching this after the fact, let me know in the comments. All right, let me count my stitches. I'm going to count my stitches by, well, first off, let's go ahead and pull that stitch marker out just a bit more. I'm going to hide this end in just a moment. I'm going to count my stitches by counting back from where this loop is coming out of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We only have 10. We should have 12. So we're going to do one more increase into this last stitch right there. Let's try that. 1 and 2. Okay, that's a pretty good start. All right, and that's going to be the end of round 2. Before I continue round 3, let's go ahead and hide this stitch in there and say hi to some more people in the chat. Hi, Martha. How you doing today? Hope you're having a great day. Shout out again to our live stream moderator, Cooper, who is helping keep the chat organized and adding links when we talk about certain stuff. Super duper appreciate that. All right, we're hiding this end. I'm just going into a few stitches here with my needle threaded with the tail end of our yarn. I'm just going to hide that end in. Normally I crochet around it, but it's kind of tough to do when you're turning your piece. So I think that's enough, and I'm just going to cut it nice and close. Our goal here is to make this base part about maybe about that big, just big enough for the bottom of a cup. And then we're going to create like a little division for the actual lily pad part after that. All right. Okay, let's continue on now to round 3 though. For round 3, I'm going to connect to my first single crochet that we made in our last round right here with a slip stitch. So just like we did kind of in round 1, just connect with the slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our piece around. We'll skip the chain and the slip stitch and start into the next stitch right here, and we're going to do the following repeat. We'll do 1 single crochet into our first stitch, like that. Oops, I should have probably pulled my stitch marker up too, but I didn't really do that. Let me do that real quick too. Okay, so we connect with the slip stitch. You know what? I'll connect the slip stitch over our... There we go. So we pull our stitch marker up, then we'll connect with the slip stitch. Okay, boom, like that. That's pretty good. All right, so now we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to skip the chain and the slip stitch, and we're going to start into our base. It looks like our 3rd stitch from the hook if you look at those V's. So right here. And we're going to start by doing 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we'll do an increase into the next stitch. So 1 in the first, and then 2 single crochets into the next one right here. 1 and 2. And then I'll just keep doing that repeat all the way around. 1 single crochet in the first, 2 single crochets in the next for an increase. 1 and 2. And this should bring our stitch count up from 12 to 18 stitches around. The chat is nice and quiet right now, which is pretty surprising. Probably because I'm doing a tutorial and they think that it's going to distract me, but I can do multiple things at once. Well, sometimes. I can't pat my head and rub my belly. I can rub my belly and pat... Wait, no. I can pat my belly and rub my head, but I can't do it the other way around. It's just impossible. I don't know how anybody does it. All right, we're just about at the end of this round right here, and let's give this a cup check before we continue on. How much longer do we need to crochet till we get to about the bottom of our circle here? So it looks like we want to increase at least 1 or 2 more rounds up. So let's go ahead and do that. So that'll be the end of round 3. Let's pull our stitch marker up right here, and we'll continue on to round 4. For round 4, we're going to connect with the slip stitch into our first stitch right here. So our very first single crochet we made, we'll connect with the slip stitch, we'll turn our piece, and then we'll chain 1. All right, for round 4, let's do 2 single crochets and then an increase. We're going to skip the chain and the slip stitch, starting our first stitch right there. And we're going to do 2 single crochets in a row. So there's 1 and 2 like that. And then an increase into the third stitch. 1 and 2. And then we'll just keep repeating that all the way till we get to the end of the round. So that's going to be increasing our stitches up from 18 up to 24 stitches around. Beta says that they're going to sleep because it's almost 1 a.m. where they're at. Well, sweet dreams. Hope you have... this is what I always tell my wife. I say, sweet dreams and dream sweetly. Hope you have a great night. All right, we'll continue around. 1, 2, and then increase up. And like I said, this should bring us up to 24 stitches by the end of this round. And I think we're almost just at how big we want this coaster to be. You know what? Yeah, I think this is as big as we're going to want our coaster to be. I know it won't fit the very bottom of our cup fully, but we're going to make it bigger by adding the cutout of the coaster itself. So maybe that's going to be okay. I think that's a good size for the center of our lily pad. What do we think, chat? I think that's a good size. Let's look at the cup. Cup check. So if we make this the center, and then we just start separating from there, we'll have a little sliver where the cup isn't covered by it, but I think it should sit up just fine. And this way it'll look more like a lily pad too. So let's go ahead and we're going to start our division part now, and which means that we're actually kind of done with this stitch marker. So I'm going to go ahead and pull our stitch marker completely out. We don't need it anymore. And continue on. If you want to make this bigger and bigger, you totally can. All you need to do is slip stitch that first stitch and do the exact same technique, but add an additional single crochet between increases for each round. That way it'll get bigger and bigger. So however big you want the base of your lily pad to be, you want to just keep doing that connection method. Now we're gonna start doing like basically a little cutout. So it kind of looks like a pie with a cutout of it. To do that, we're going to chain 1. This is going to be round 5 of our lily pad. We're going to chain 1, turn our piece around, and we're going to start in the first stitch that we made. So right after the chain, the very first single crochet that we made. And we're going to do the same kind of repeat, but this time we're not going to slip stitch together to connect. So we're going to do 1, 2, we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3 single crochets. And then we'll do an increase into the next one right here. So 2 in the same stitch. Like that. And then I'm just going to keep repeating that all the way around until we get to the end of our round. So that's 3 single crochets and then an increase repeated 6 times total. So 1, 2, 3, increase. Let's do another one. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. This music is getting wild. It was like, the playlist is like, this is a really chill, relaxing video game music. And then it was like, actually, we're going to get chaotic for you. That's all right, though. All right, so we're just going to keep doing this repeat around, 3 single crochets and then an increase. We are crocheting, the chat wants to know what we're making right now. Wosu, we are crocheting a lily pad coaster. Yeah, we're actually designing it live on camera too. So if this doesn't go right, it's not my fault. All right. Last repeat here. 1, 2, and 3, and then an increase up. You should have, I believe, 30 stitches around now, by the way, if you want to count your stitches. You should have 30 stitches around. And already that's giving a little bit of a lily pad look. But let's keep that increase coming bigger and bigger. So next, we're going to chain 1, turn our piece, and continue on to round 6. Round 6, we're just going to keep that repeat going. We're going to skip the chain and start into our first stitch that we made, and we're going to do 4 single crochets now, and then an increase. And now you're really starting to see what the repeat is. It's just continuously getting this bigger and bigger, with the sliver getting bigger and bigger. And then by the end, we're going to connect these two together. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Or sorry, not connected together, but surround the entire piece with slip stitches to like clean up what the edges are. So again, that's 4 single crochets and then an increase, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And just keep repeating down. Oh, Callie says, slow down. We're not there yet. Sorry. I will go a little bit slower. But let me know if you got lost at any point there, and I can help you out, Callie. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our increase right here. 1 and 2. And you know what? That cup check is going to look pretty close to the size of the cup, I think, after this round. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our increase right here. 1 and 2. And I think we might end up doing a second one of these to sew it together with. I don't think you have to, but I think it might be a fun little thing to try out. We might try it out. Let's see. Okay, so you see how it's starting to divide into 2 different pieces here? That's exactly what we want. We want this to be splitting like that, and it's creating more and a bigger slice out of the lily pad itself. So you see how it's starting to get that lily pad look. All right, let's look at it on our cup. How we doing? Hey, look at that. That's about the size of the cup. That's pretty good. We want it a little bit bigger than that, though. So let's go ahead and make it just a little bit bigger. Maybe 1 or maybe 2 rounds. Well, we got to start somewhere. Let's start with 1. So we're going to do that same repeat. We'll turn our piece around. We're on round, I think that was round 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was round 6? Wait. Yes. Yes, I believe. That's round 1. Or round 1 is down here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so we're on round 7. So for round 7, we want to turn and chain 1. Skip our chain, and we're just going to do that repeat with 1 additional stitch in between. So this time I think we're doing 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then our increase into the next right here. So 2 in the same stitch. And then we'll just keep doing that repeat all the way around. Hello, chat. Hey, Lily, how you doing? How's your day been? 4 and 5 single crochets and then an increase. Hello, Nicole. Nicole's in the chat. Hi, Nicole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our increase. I've been using this crochet hook for so long now, like legitimately years, and every day I use it. And I'm at the point now where the glue that holds the handle down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has kind of eroded. And so the crochet hook keeps slipping out of the handle. And every now and then you might see me like take my hands out like this. You can kind of see it. See how look how long this crochet hook looks right now. Watch. I'm going to pull it out, and then what I do is I stick it against a wall and I poke it back in like this. Boink. And now look how long it is. I have to do that all the time now because I'm too lazy to glue my crochet hook back together. And I've worn it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our increase right here. Okay. So my theory is if we make 2 of these lily pads and then crochet them together, we can also put things in the lily pad itself. So we can put little like magnets in there so that our crocheted frogs can kind of sit on it too. I just think it might be a cute little addition. But let's see, how far are we now? It's looking pretty good. I think we can do maybe 1 more round. It might be a little big for a coaster. Actually, you know what? I think 1 more round isn't too big for a coaster. I think it's just the right size, actually. Yeah, I think so. Right? It's looking like a lily pad for sure. But I think it might. Let's go another round up. So we're gonna do one more round here. That was round 7. We're on round 8. We're gonna turn, chain 1, and we're gonna do our repeat again, but make it one more single crochet between increases. So last round we did 5 single crochets and then an increase. This round we're gonna do 6 single crochets and then an increase, which will bring your stitch count up to what's 6 times 8? Hold on, I can math. Okay, so it turns out I can't math while I crochet. That's a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then our increase right here. There we go. All right, so 6. That's 42. Am I right, chat? I think it's 42. Or is that 48? Actually, maybe it's 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 single crochets, and then an increase. I think it is 48. Yeah, it is 48. 2, 3, 4. Am I wrong, Callie? Callie thinks it's 42 also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oopsies, 6 single crochets between increases. Like that. Let's count our stitches real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh no, see, I did that wrong again. There we go. 24. Yeah, it is 48. Okay, there we go. Back on track. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And then our increase. Louisa. Hello, Louisa. How are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, oh my gosh. I keep losing track of my count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then our increase right here. 7, 8. All right. So we're just about done, I think, with our last maybe round here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our increase. Actually, this is our increase. Yes. All right, last repeat. 6 single crochets, then increase. And we should be at 48 stitches around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then an increase right here. Okay, let's see our piece. Do we like this for the size of our coaster? I think that's pretty good. We could make it bigger and bigger now if we wanted to. We could go more and more of this stitches. But let's see how it looks with our cup. Cup check. Hey, that's a good size for a coaster, I think. And honestly, it already kind of finishes as a coaster. But I have an idea. Now I'm just, oh my gosh, look at what a great timing we are done with our round. We are out of green yarn, so that's great. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to, we'll go ahead and cut the yarn. This is only if you want to make a bigger one. A double thickness. So I'm going to create a second one of these and we're going to crochet them actually together. But before we do that, we need to finish this one up. So I'm going to cut the yarn here and just pull it all the way through. Now you don't really need to do this part if you don't want to. You could just continue on and do our border round to finish this up. But I think it'd be really fun to connect this with 2 pieces, so 2 of the same lily pads together, so that it has a thickness to it. And then we can put little magnets in the lily pad itself, which we can use for little frogs, because I put little magnets in the bottom of my frogs, so we can have our frogs sitting on the lily pad and they'll stay there. And then maybe we can also create a little flower or something that can go magnetically on it. I just think it'd be a really fun, cute, unique idea for a coaster. So let's go ahead. I'm going to make a second one of these, but to do that, I need to find some more green yarn. So 1 second, I need to, you know what? I think it's time to open a new ball of green yarn. Let's do it. I am almost out of this, actually. But here we go. New ball of green yarn. Just a little fact you might not know about. When you finish a ball of club crochet, or when you start a new ball of club crochet yarn, it makes this wonderful sound when you take the label off. It goes like this. Watch. Oh. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. That just happens naturally, too. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a second one of these lily pads in the exact same way. And if you're watching the tutorial, I'll be back in just a sec. If you're watching the live stream, well, hi live stream. Now we get to hang out a little bit more. So now I'm going to go and pause our recording of the tutorial here. And let's hang out, chat. How was your week? What you guys been up to? I think we need a pigeon update from Zoe today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Zoe, how are the baby pigeons going? And also, if there's any point in that little tutorial there in the live stream that you have a question about, that you're like, wait, but how'd you do this or whatever, let me know now, and I can do my best to help explain some stuff to you. So if I was going too quick, or I didn't explain any section of that well enough, I would like to remedy that. So please let me know. All right. I think I'm going to work around my tail end as I work these last few stitches, so we don't have to do that part where we hid that stitches in. I think it'd be a little easier if I just crochet around them now. There we go. 1, 2. Now, normally my crochet, I actually don't turn after every round. Instead, I just keep going around in a spiral. But because this lily pad had that part where we have it like cut open, you know, this like sliver out of it, it's best to turn after each round. That way it creates space for where that cutout would be. Normally in the regular lily pad pattern, you don't connect like this. You just keep turning like you did at the end of that one round. And it just makes a lily pad without the big center. But because we want this to be a coaster, I didn't want there to be a big cutout from the very center out, because I didn't want there to be like a big section where the cup can go and drip down onto the ground. So I wanted there to be at least some part of the center was covered up. So that was why we crocheted this the way we did. Wait. 1 single crochet, 2, and then increase. Got it. Rebecca, this live stream feels so peaceful. Loving it. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. Really appreciate that. Can Yari wants help making a small fox? I sure can try to help. Yari, where do you need like a complete pattern from scratch? Because I can't really do that right now, but I can help give you tips or help give advice, or even if you just want opinions, if you can give me some detailed like questions there. Zoe, we got an update about the pigeons. So Zoe has these baby pigeons that seem to nest seems like every year now they're nesting, and I wonder if this actually, Zoe, I wonder if the baby pigeons this time are coming from, or are the parents of the baby pigeons this time are the baby pigeons from last year. I wonder if that's the way it worked. Because like that's where they were born, so like they go back to it. I don't know. Might be interesting. But anyhow, they said they ordered some decoy eggs, so when mama pigeon does decide to lay more eggs, you can switch them out. Wait. So you want to steal wait, do you want to steal the pigeon's eggs? Are you trying to make a pigeon omelet? You dastardly devil. I don't know if that's the case or not. But I'm confused. That's really funny if that is what I want to eat. I want to eat a pigeon egg. I wonder how many people in the world have eaten pigeon eggs. I'm going to guess not very many. Hard-boiled pigeon egg. Yuck. They're not returning babies. We give them a bracelet to identify them. Oh, they're not returning babies because you gave them a bracelet. You're so smart, Zoe. How did you get a bracelet on them? How did you do that? Have you like taken care of pigeons before, Zoe, or is this like a first time? 6 increase. Okay. It looks like we got to round. So this round connects, and then our next round doesn't connect. Okay. So this is our. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This round. No, this round. This round doesn't connect, I don't think. Is that right? 2 single crochets and then an increase, and we don't connect at the end. Is that correct? I believe that's correct. Look at our last piece though. So I did 2 increase, and then we turned. Yeah, we didn't connect. Okay, cool. So we don't need to connect. Now we just turn and keep going. 1, 2, 3, and then our increase. You rock my socks, Coop. Super appreciate that. Zoe is making pigeon milk. That's what I heard too. 3 and then an increase. Two, 3, then our increase. All right. Move over oat milk. We got the next best thing. Wow. The future is now. Yeah, notice that Zoe still didn't say what they're doing with the eggs. I agree. Dastardly devil. Or maybe Zoe is just starting to create an army of pigeons. Yes, an army of pigeons. We shall conquer the world one poop at a time. We're flying. We're flying. I think this is going to be super duper cute. 4. By the way, did you get all your suggestions in for our little frog, our next frog pattern? Sorry, not pattern, but our next, we're making a custom frog next based on the vibes of the chat. So if you want to give a vibe, I would say this is your last chance. So there is a link in the top of the chat right now to our community channel. And if you go to that community channel, you can provide a suggestion for what you would like to see in our next frog in today's live stream, because we're going to make a customized frog after this, and we're going to vote on it with the chat. So I'm going to finish up this I think we'll finish up this second lily pad, and then I'll go and throw the vote in the chat as I finish up our tutorial for this lily pad coaster, and then we'll get to crocheting a custom frog. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our increase right here. 1 and 2. Three and 4, and then our increase right here. 1 and 2, like that. Let's fix our crochet hook. Yoink. All right. Slip or chain and turn. Continue on. How many did I do on this one? I think I did. There were 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in between. So I got 2 more rounds, I believe. We just can't keep having our poo machines overtake our balcony every year. Okay, sure. I think you should start selling those eggs, girl. I mean, make a profit off of these pigeons. Or just, you know, maybe it's time to start eating pigeon eggs, though. Maybe you're there in your life. It's that time. It's time to start eating pigeon eggs, dude. You could become the foremost pigeon chef. You know how to make the best pigeon omelets in all the land. They are government spies. That is absolutely accurate. I'm pretty confident in saying that pigeons are government spies. Maybe not government spies, but they're definitely spies. Just makes the most sense for them to be government spies. They could be any kind of spies. I think they're probably alien spies. Oh my gosh, speaking of aliens, I heard Resident Alien is coming back, which I'm so excited about. If you haven't watched that show, it's very good. And I thought it was over, so I'm really, really excited that there's another season of it. And they're just starting very soon. So I'm really, really excited about that. But yeah, we've been, I've just been playing a lot of Mario Kart in my free time when I have it. I feel like my free time is fleeting more and more every day, though. And I think that's, I don't think I'm alone in saying that. I think we're all kind of, I don't know. Everybody told me this. They were like, oh, you know, time flies. It goes faster and faster as you get older. And like, I'm not that old at all, but dang, dude, they're totally right. It's going quicker and quicker. It seems like every single day feels shorter than the last. Just like minutely. But it really does start to feel like that. And maybe I'm alone with that. I don't know. But it just feels like how. And like, Jules and I want to start having kids soon. And I just can't imagine, man. Like, how does anybody with children have time to do anything? I guess they don't. I guess that's kind of the point. I'm excited for that section of my life, for sure. But I won't deny I am going to miss the freedom of just waking up when I want to, drinking a coffee and crocheting all day. How do you do decreases again? I'm making a frog now because I just showed up late. No worries, Callie. How do you do decreases? So there's actually a few different ways to do decreases. My favorite way is with an invisible decrease. 4, 5, and 6 here. And then increase. All right, so let me show you an invisible decrease, Callie. I'll get real close to the camera for you. There we go. So this is an invisible decrease. This is going to look a little bit different because I'm working back and forth, but the concept is still the same. Essentially, for an invisible decrease for your frogs, it's probably the one you're going to want to use. You want to work into the front loops of the next 2 stitches simultaneously. So if you look at the top of your stitches here, you got both loops like that. That's how we've been normally making crochet stitches, right? But this time we only want to work in the loop closest to you, the front loop. You want to work into this front loop, and then you want to work your crochet hook around and get under the second front loop so that you're under 2 front loops at the same time. So let me show you with the crochet hook here, and I'll undo it. So we go under this front loop here, That's our next one. And then the second front loop like that. Once you're under 2 front loops at the same time, you'll do a single crochet. You know, you'll yarn over, pull through both of those front loops, and then do a single crochet. That's my favorite way to do decreases. If you want to make something, I call it a sharp decrease. It's a really, really flat decrease. That way is a little bit different. To do a sharp decrease, you're basically doing a single crochet or like kind of a slip stitch 2 together. So you go into the next stitch like you normally would for single crochet and pull a loop through, and then you'll go into the next stitch. So not only this one, but the one after it right here, and pull a second loop through, and then take that second loop and pull it through the 2 on the hook like this. And that's what I call a sharp decrease. The only times I use sharp decreases are at the very bottom of a crochet pattern, where in a place where you're not going to see it anyhow. And the reason I do that is because it makes your crochet really, really flat. It makes them sit like completely flat on the ground. 4, 5, and 6, which obviously can be extremely useful when you're making little crochet projects that you want to sit upright. So that is called a sharp decrease. And then the last way to decrease, the last real way to decrease is called a single crochet 2 together, which is kind of like that sharp decrease method, but instead of pulling that second loop through the 2 that you have on the hook, you yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. It kind of makes it a little confusing, but I honestly don't really like using single crochet 2 together unless I have to. So yeah, there's my little tips for you. Looks like we got you covered there, Callie. If you want more detailed instructions for how to decrease, there is a video tutorial on our channel called, I think, How to Decrease. And it shows how to decrease in all those methods. Oh, that's right. And then there is the last technically way to decrease that I highly suggest you don't do, which would be to skip a stitch, which I don't suggest that. Okay, so we finished this up. I'm not going to pull through that last stitch because I want to get that on camera. So we're going to start the camera up in just a moment. But before I do that, let's get a vote going on what we want our next custom frog to be. So I'm going to go into our post that we have in the chat, and I'm going to choose my 4 favorite here. Oh, someone said Gangster Frog. That's a great name. That's a great option. So we got Gangster. Ooh, I like the Chef Frog. Okay. Prince. Okay. Oh my god, there's so many good options here. How am I gonna... Ooh. Dang it, dude. I don't know. Oh my god, they're all so good. I did not expect you guys to have so many good suggestions. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, there's gonna be a few of them. Ooh. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to choose. Okay, here's our options. We're gonna vote between these ones. How should we... So we're gonna go with 1, 2, 3. All right, so here's the options. We got Gangster Frog, Chef Frog, Prince Frog, or Poisonous Frog, like a dart frog. All really, really good choices. Honestly, I don't even know which one. I don't know which one's the best. You guys vote for it. We're going to choose that after we finish our lily pad. So it's going to be a second because I still need to slip stitch everything together. But let's get back to the tutorial. I'm going to start the recording again. We're back to recording. And now we're going to finalize our lily pads here. Okay. All right, guys, back to Louis tutorial mode. All right, so we've just finished up our second lily pad connection piece. Now, like I said, if you don't want to, you don't really need to connect these two together. I just think it might be nice to connect these both together to make a thicker coaster, but also put little magnets on the inside of the coaster so that we can have our things sit on it. So here's how we're going to be doing this. You now have 2 coasters that are the exact same. The first one, I cut the yarn and we pulled it through. The second one, I still have the loop on it. What we're going to do is I'm going to start, let's see, we'll start by, let's start by chaining one. And we're going to line these coasters up. And yeah, you know what? We'll chain one. We're going to turn our piece around, and we're going to pull that chain through that last stitch on the other side like this. Okay, just like that. And I'll go ahead and pull that last stitch a little tighter as well. And what we want to do is we basically want to slip stitch these two lily pads together. Actually, you know what? I'm going to undo that. We're going to do this again. Let me see. I need to think this through. We want to slip stitch these all together. How do we start it? I mean, I know how to keep going. I think we'll just go into the same stitch here and just start slip stitching from there, then back up, and we'll do a chain at the top, and then I'll slip stitch across. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Let's try that video recording one more time. All right, we're going to pretend we just finished that, guys. Thank you for bearing with me, chat. We are, by the way, chat, again, we are voting on what we want to make for our next customized frog. Okay. All right, so now we've completed our second lily pad, and now we want to connect these two lily pads together by slip stitching them together. So what we can do is we're going to take our crochet hook, we're going to go into the base of where that last stitch was made, right there, and then line it up with our other lily pad. We're going to go into the same exact stitch on the opposite lily pad right here. And then we can just yarn over and pull a loop through. We're going to try to leave this tail end on the outside. We're going to yarn over, pull a loop through the, attach the ball through the stitches, through both of these ends at the same time. I kind of got that yarn split. Let me try this again. There we go. One, and then two like that, and then through the loop on the hook. We're creating a slip stitch. We're just going to keep doing that all the way down to the bottom connection point and then back up, and then we're going to do that all the way across the outside too. So we're going to go into the next stitch right here, just somewhere along the edge, and what's important is you want to match it on the opposite side as well. So you want to make sure both lily pads are being slip stitched together through the same spots. That's pretty good. Next stitch, we're going to go at the base of this stitch here, and then the same place on the opposite lily pad right there, and then just yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And you see how it's going to make this nice little edge and connect these two together. It'll give us a thicker lily pad. So we're going to do this on the second one. That. And then the next one's going to be right at the base right here. And we'll match it on this other side. Pull through like that. Now we're going to work back up the lily pad. So that worked down our sliver. Now we want to work up our sliver to connect that part. And then we're going to work all the way around our edge. Our next one's going to be right. Let's go with like right here, just somewhere on the edge. Again, what's important is that it matches the opposite side, which looks like about right there. And let's go ahead and try that one. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then we'll go up to the next one right there. And that would be right there. Is that correct? Hold on, let's look at it on our piece again. So that'll be right there. And then on the opposite side would be right here. Got it. So again, you just want to make sure that everything matches so that it goes around evenly as we work our way back up the lily pad. 1, 2, 3. And we're just about at the top. Nice. We're going to go into the very top stitch right here. Actually, we'll work into like, let's work into that top chain. So see how there's this loop right here? We're going to work into that loop and then into the loop on the opposite side too. Right there. And that way it's at the very tip of our lily pad, and it might hopefully create more of a corner as we work around the other side. All right, we probably want to hide this end in, but we can do that in a little bit. So now what we want to do is we're just going to start working all the way around. I'm going to get about halfway through, slip stitching all of these connecting pieces, and then we're going to add our little magnets on the inside of our lily pad before we complete crocheting them together. Sound good? I think that sounds pretty good to me. I think that sounds pretty good to me. All right. Just keep going around. 1, 2, and then this stitches higher. All right. All right, chat. While we do all these slip stitches together, how is our vote going? Again, we're voting between a chef frog, what were the other ones? Chef frog, a gangster frog, a prince frog, or a poisonous frog for our customized frog that we're going to add to this lily pad afterwards. And I'm very curious to see what you guys vote for. It's going to be I think it's going to be a close vote because those were all really good suggestions by the chat. As we go, it's getting a little easier actually to do these slip stitches in. And it's making this nice clean. It's going to be a thick coaster. Definitely going to be a thick coaster, but I think that's going to be really nice for our piece too, to have this like nice thick coaster that holds on top of our cups on top of it. And you don't really need to connect these two together. You could just make it without this connection point, and I think it would be completely fine for a coaster. Let's just do a few more stitches here. Actually, you know what? We'll go pretty much to near the end before we add our little magnets. I already am loving this though. But yeah, I wonder what the chat's been voting for here. Hola! ¿Cómo estás? Fizzle said they voted chef, but they wanted to vote gangster. I guess we'll just have to make a series of themed frogs. I guess you might be right, Nicole. Nicole might be right. I think we're going to have to make a series of themed coasters. This is nice because I actually did want to start making more coasters for the website. So I'm glad we're doing this. Okay. Hey, that's looking pretty good so far. Look at that. It's like a nice big old patty. I want to eat it. Okay, before I continue too much further, so we still have a lot more to slip stitch together, but before I do that, I want to do two things. First, I'm going to hide this tail end in. Second, we're going to add our little magnets in. So let's start by hiding our tail end. I'm just going to thread this onto a needle, and then I'm just going to try hiding it into the back of a few stitches. So not too complicated. We're just going to go into right here, like this, and then I'm just going to go work our way back into a few stitches just like that, and we'll have it come out on the inside because that's where it'll be hidden best. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. All right, that should be enough, and we'll just go ahead and cut that nice and close. Okay, so that's the hidden part. Next, we want to add magnets. So I need a bunch of mini magnets now. And I like using these neodymium magnets. I'm personally, if you're looking for the same magnets as me, I'm using 12 millimeter by 2 millimeter magnets. Woo, and they are very strong, as you can tell. Okay, so I think we need probably 2 magnets on the inside. Let's try it though. Let's see. First, we want to make sure its polarity works with our example frog here. So we're going to go like this. We'll put them in there, and that should be enough. Oh yeah, that's enough to hold the frog. Perfect. Okay, so where do we want our magnets? Here, we'll go ahead and we're going to use these mini magnets to hold our magnets in place. And this way we can also kind of move them around on the inside, which we'll be able to do later as well, I think. Let's say like right there. I just don't want it to be a big clump when we put our cup down. So maybe we actually just want one magnet or no magnets. Let's see. Let's try let's try just one magnet instead. See how that looks. The question is, will it be lumpy when we have our coaster on it? Let's try. Or I mean, our cup on it. Yeah, that looks good. I don't think that's going to get in the way. And I think that probably is enough. Yeah, that just keeps our frog where it's supposed to be, you know? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're just going to do one magnet in it then. And I'm just going to use this top of this magnet to know where our magnets are supposed to be. And this way, it won't get lost on the inside. So we'll do one more over here. I'm going to try to keep these magnets a little bit separated from each other because I do not want them to connect to each other. Oopsies, we broke our magnet. We broke a little mini magnet. That's okay. We can use that for a project later. All right, so I'm just going to move this magnet over more so that it's more like over here and away from our opposite magnet. We'll just connect those two together. All right, and we're just going to leave these magnets on there as I finish up my piece, and that way those mini magnets on the inside ain't got nowhere to go. All right. All right, so now I'll finish up the slip stitches. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, and then I'm out the door. 5, 6. We got to pick up those sticks. We can't forget about that. And then 7, 8. What is 7, 8? I don't remember. Don't forget that you got to 8. You got to 8. It's your fate. 9, 10. You got to do it all again. All right, we're coming to the end of our lily pads here. Just about done. And do we want to do one more? Yeah, I think we need to so that that last bit is stitched together. So we're going to go into that last stitch here, into the corner, and we'll slip stitch for our last one right there. And now what we want to do is we want to hide this end in. We're just going to cut the yarn. You don't need a very long end. This is just for hiding. And then we'll just pull it all the way through. And then we're going to hide this end into the edge of one of these other stitches. Once I find the needle that I felt fall on the floor. There it is. All right, thread this onto our needle. And then this is how I like to hide stitches, or hide our last stitch. I go into the back of the next stitch over. So like right there. Like that. And then back in through where this end is coming out. So see where that's coming out? We want to go back into that same place. Like that. And then we'll pull it a little tighter. And then I just try to find some stitches to hide it in on the back. So I'm just like feeling my way on the inside, trying to make sure my needle is hidden in the back of a few stitches. And then I'm going to come out somewhere on the back of our piece. And we're going to pull it just tight enough to mimic the edge of those slip stitches. So like that. So that's the whole point here, is we want to make sure it's hidden. I think that's pretty good, honestly. Okay. Go ahead and cut these nice and short. And voila. We have got our mini, or not mini, our lily pad coaster. Nice thick coaster too, with special magnets in there to hold on to our little frogs. You can see he's finding his way to the little spots. Now what we want to still do is, obviously we've got our little mini frog that we have on this, but I think I'd like to also make a little flower. So we'll come back in a little bit and we'll crochet a little lily pad flower to go onto our lily pad. Maybe we should make those magnets go more in the center. Let's actually try to do that really quick. So I'm going to try to get one of these magnets closer to the center. Yeah, about like right there. And then we're going to also get that other magnet, which is right here. And I'm going to try to move that one more further away. That's probably good. Okay. So now both the frog can sit on it like that, and then our flower that we end up making can go right in the center as well. Looking pretty good though. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and place this to the side. We'll come back to the flower. Okay, so there's our tutorial. I'm gonna make the flower part at the end of our stream today. But first, before we get to that, let's make a custom frog based on the chat. All right, stream. So we're taking a break from the tutorial bits, and we're gonna make a custom frog. And which custom frog are we gonna make? I wondered aloud. Oh my god, it is so close of a vote. Oh my gosh, it's like crazy close. But it's time to end the poll. With 45 votes, the winner is Chef Frog. You got it. All right, Chef Frog. All right, so we know positively, absolutely, we need to make a little chef hat. That's most certain. So we're going to need white yarn. We're also going to need probably some brown yarn or something to make like maybe a mustache for our frog. And then we're also going to need a color. What color screams chef? Red? Orange? I don't want to make it sage green again. I mean, I guess we could. You know what? Let's vote on it. What color should our chef frog be? So we can choose. I think I'm gonna go orange. We could do. I guess we could do. I'll put sage green in there again. And what other colors could we do here, team? Maybe blue? Does blue say chef to you? What colors do you think of when we think chef? Maybe green, blue, black, orange. What other colors do I even have? I guess we could do brown, make it a toad more. Yellow. Callie says yellow. We could try yellow. All right, I'll throw yellow in there. It just might get lost with the hat of it all. And then if we do yellow, I think we want to do like a kind of off yellow, because the yellow Club Crochet yellow that I have is like really, really bright. So I think I have like an alternative yellow that we could use if we do that. Which I think is in here. Yes. Ooh, what about pink? Is that weird? Red? Okay, red works. Red works for our last color option. This is the yellow I'm thinking of using. So that way it's a little bit different color. And then we'll go red. It's kind of like a gold almost. All right. So there's our vote. You go from, we can do orange, sage green, yellow, or red. I should have done blue. Whatever. Those are the color choices. Go ahead and vote now on the colors. While you're voting for that, I'm going to go and crochet a chef hat to go on our frog, which means I need a frog. I need another frog for sizing. So I think I have a little frog somewhere in here. There. Oh, no, that's a tiny frog. We need a normal sized frog. I got a lily pad. I got a pond. And there's a frog. Okay. So this is going to be the size of our frog. So we need to make a chef hat that works well for that size. And I do have an idea. I think we made a little chef hat once upon a time for an ankylosaurus that was a cheese ankylosaurus. So I think I'm going to try doing that. And I think the way I did it was, this is going to be hard. Single crochet 1. And then I think it was a bobble stitch. Or like a mini bobble in the center. 1. That's what we'll try. 1, 2. Yeah, we'll try a mini bobble. I think it might be a bit big, but it's worth a shot. So it's like that. And then I just repeat that 3 times. And then I think it makes this like nice little chef hat looking thing at the top. But let's give it a shot. So we got 1 single crochet, 1 mini bobble. It might be a bump that I'm thinking about. That would make it a little bit cleaner. But let's see. That's pretty good. 1, 2. I'm gonna pull this a little bit tighter now, just because I know how difficult it's gonna be to pull that tight in a little bit. Oh, that's right. I get a vote. I want to vote for that color. Ooh, me and everybody else in the chat. Awesome. Single crochet 1, and then our last mini bobble will be right here. 1, 2, and 3. Hello, we got Square Kitty, Arnaf, and Billy Boy. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Okay, so we got that, and see how that's going to create like these little bobble bits on the top to make it more chef hatty. And then we're just going to pull that nice and tight to close it up. And then I'm just going to work into our first stitch. Perhaps I'll work into our first stitch. That's pretty good. And do a crochet around that, like that. Okay, yeah, I think I like that. That as the top of our chef hat, you know? I think that looks like the top of a chef hat, I would say. And then we'll just work our way down. So we'll go 1. Let's work around this tail end. You know what? Actually, we got to leave the tail end because we need it for sewing. So we'll leave it there. And come back to that later. Three, 4, 5, and then last one will be right here, 6. Like that. Okay, that looks like a little chef hat, like the start of a chef hat. Do we want to make it one more stitch before we do our base of it? How tall do we want this? About that tall, right? I don't think we actually do need to do another round of crochet. I think what we're going to do next is I'm going to slip stitch to the first stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to start working, actually I'll start in the second stitch right here. I'm just going to do single crochets. I was going to do half doubles, but I think doing just singles will be enough. Obviously we can undo this if we need to though. But see, that's going to create like this little gap, which I'm hoping makes it look more like a chef hat. Even though it's really tiny, it's kind of hard to see what's going on there, but I think it'll work. Chef Rogan Ramsay. Oh yeah, we definitely are also gonna need name suggestions. Okay. And then I'll do one more in the slip stitch that we made if I can get my crochet hook into there. Right here is where we want a crochet hook. But I crocheted so tightly. That's pretty good. And then I'll just slip stitch to the first one that we made. And let's see how this little chef hat looks. Hey, you know what? I think that's actually pretty dang good. Let's cut the yarn. I'll show you it a little bit better. These scissors are getting dull. I've been using those also forever. So we're just gonna pull this through. And we got our 2 tail ends for sewing onto the head. And let's go ahead and I'll get this like kind of clumped in a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and fix that bottom part too. Does that look like a chef hat to you, chat? What do we think? I think that looks like a chef hat. And then we put that just on the top like this. And then bam, we got a chef hat. Maybe even off to the side like that, so it's like kind of curled. And then we can even, maybe we can put like hair or something on his face. I think that's pretty good for a chef hat. Let's continue on now. I'll place that to the side. And let's see, what color did you want me to make our frog? Orange. Okay. Orange I like. Next thing we need to vote while I get started on the orange. How big of eyes? How big should the eyes be? Actually, you know what? I don't think I do want to know. I think I want to make that choose myself, because I think it might be nice to make like grumpy eyes, so I think small eyes would be best. But now I guess we could do big eyes. This is what big eyes look like on a frog. This is our witchy frog from a previous stream. So we could do big eyes. Big eyes look a little too kind to me. I think a chef needs to be a little grumpy. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think our chef needs to be a little grumpy. So I think we'll do small eyes for him. And we're making them orange. I don't know if we need a mustache or not. I don't know. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the pattern now and get rocking and rolling, hooking and cooking. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did it with the music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Perfect. Depends on the type of chef. Well, we're definitely going to need name suggestions for the chef, by the way. So if you got ideas for the name, let us know in the chat. And we'll choose our 4 favorites. Actually, moderators, do you think you could put the names down? You could just put it in the gnome doc that we had created a while back. We probably can just rename that doc to... we can probably change the name of that gnome suggestions doc to just like name suggestions doc, maybe. And then maybe we could either just put it at the very base of it, or we could do it at the top. It's up to you guys. Aunt Toady Bourdain. I love that name. Oh my gosh, Jules is gonna love that. She's a huge fan. All right, then we're gonna do single there. Change to our white. We're just gonna do white eyes. And yeah, I might like customize this frog a little bit more by adding I think it'd be nice to customize it by adding some like some spots and stuff later too. Now we're gonna do a mini bobble here. So we go 1, 2, and 3. Snip. Perfect. And then we'll go crease here. There's 1, 2, and then 1 and 2, and then we're going to do our second eye. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I think that totally works with for the eyes. And I'm loving this orange, by the way, for our toads. I think it looks really good. I do feel like maybe I should have made the chef hat in like a slightly alternate white, so it didn't match the white of the eyes too much, but whatever. We did what we did. It's just the way it be now. I think it's looking pretty good though, right? Yeah, I think that a chef needs to be a little grumpy. Chefs are always grumpy. 1, 2, 3. And then our increase right here in the corner of the eye. Again, if you want to get the crochet patterns for anything that we're making today, I'm going to put them all at clubcrochet.com/frog. There's also a link in the description to our full Woolly Woods collection. There we go. Just to give that a shout out. And if you haven't given this video a like yet, please do give this video a like. Oh, I forgot to mention in the beginning, if we get this video to 100 likes, we're going to do a giveaway next stream. I believe that's what I said in the chat, right? Yes, 100 likes will give us a giveaway. Oh my gosh, we're at 98 likes right now. Okay, so we're very close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, and then our increase. So once we hit 100 likes, we'll do a giveaway next live stream, but I'll also show off what our next pattern is going to be in the chat or on the stream, and the one that we're looking for testers for right now. So it'll be a little reward for hitting 100 likes. I think that's nice. Yes, Zoe says exactly what I say. Give us your Chefy frog names. We like puns. Cooper and Zoe are adding them to a list for us. And thank you so much, Cooper and Zoe. So give us your best chef frog names in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. I forgot how fun these frogs are to make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then our increase. All right. Look at that. That's coming together. I would say that is coming together. Thank you, Finn. Make that 999 or 99 likes. I appreciate you. We're just about to hit 100. Very cool. And then our increase here. 1, 2, right? And then 6, and then increase again. Oh, let's fix our crochet hook again because I refuse to get a new crochet hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then our increase right here. Nice. 1, 2, and 3. Looking pretty good, right? Yeah. I think that's looking just fine, isn't it? All right, now just a fun round of just single crochets before we add our eyes in. Six, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Beautiful. Beautiful, innit? Love it. We love it. One moment. We need to plug in our iPad because it's going to die. It's going to die. And it's the only way we can see the chat. So we don't want it to die. Plug in there. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Camera. Are we all good? Okay, we're good. We're Gucci, Stanley Tucci. Let's do it. Running out of orange yarn. Ah! We're almost out of orange yarn. But we only have... Ooh, we actually have 3 more rounds to go. We might not have enough orange yarn. I might need to get some secondary orange yarn, which I think we're going to have to pull from storage. Okay, but that's all right. We'll get there later. Let's add our eyes. So I'm thinking we want kind of grumpy eyes. I think just like a little bit of grumpy. So let me draw it out for us. Just make our life a little bit easier. If I can find a pen. Where's my pen? Where did I put the pen? There it is. Okay, so we could add a mustache. We could add... I mean, the options are either mustache or mouth. What do you think, chat? Mustache or mouth? You know what? Duh. Let's vote. Regardless, I think we want a grumpy face. So mouth or... Okay, so vote now. Do you want a mouth or do you want a mustache? So if we do eyes, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to draw out our frog a little bit here. So I'm just going to draw a mouth for right now. The options are we can do grumpy eyes or regular eyes. We can do tired eyes. So it'd be like, this would be like tired eyes. You know, with like little eyes in there. So it could be something like that. We could also make him grumpy. We could give him like over eyelids too. Like that. We could make him more like really grumpy eyes. You know? Or we could just make him like, we can make him look crazy. We could have one big eye, one small eye, like that. A crazy chef? That could work. I don't know, chat. What do you think? It's all going to kind of depend on the stash. So the stash would look like that. Oh my gosh, that's really cute. I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? Oh, the chat's saying, I want a mustache. Jumpy Oliver. I think, okay, so we're definitely gonna, you want a mustache. Okay, heard. Let's do little eyes. We're gonna do little eyes looking forward. It'll give us more room for customizations and it won't distract from the eyes. I mean, from whatever other customizations. You know, the bigger the eyes, the more like you're gonna look at the eyes of all things. So we're gonna do eyes right here. Lol. Zoe says that the crazy eyes looks like the chefs that you've worked with. That's funny. I like that. That is a perfect placement for an eye, I think. Okay. Oops. Okay. There we go. I think that's pretty good for the eyes. I like that. It's simple, it's classic, easy, gives us a lot of room for customization. Okay, so there's our eyes in. Let's customize them with some, I think red yarn. I think red would look really good with the yellow, or with the orange. Or we could do our off yellow here. That could look pretty good too. You know, we could do like that. Oof, I don't know. I'm torn, you guys. Red or yellow? What do you think? You know what? Let's change the vote. Okay, so we got, you guys have pretty substantially chosen to do the mustache, which, you know, I appreciate that. Accent color. Accent color. So we could do red, yellow, What else works really good with orange? What other like accent color would look well with this? I don't think green will look that good. What color looks really good with orange? Purple? Nah, I think purple's too much. I think we're just going to do between red and yellow. I think I like those two options. So we're going to go accent color red or yellow. All right, now we're going to add a mustache to this. Well, you guys are voting for that because you have chosen correctly to add a mustache. Then dive through the Temple of Frogs. Anybody know what I'm referencing? To receive the Medallion of the Champions. I'm just making it all up. But it is from a show. Alright, so I think the way we're going to do the stash is I'm going to go boom, and then boom, and then come up from there, and then we're going to go around that stitch and back in. That's the plan. Okay, so we're going to go... This might not work. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to go boom, and boom, like these. Okay, so we're basically, I'm creating like these little tiny spots right there and over here. Like this. Okay, so I know it seems kind of weird, but if we do that first, and then we come up through the very center, right in the between that, right there. This is going to be kind of hard to do, but right... like that. Let's try it. That might be a little high up. And then we go around... Yeah, and then we go around this. Like that. See, it gives us something to work around. And then... Let's see. I think that's pretty good, actually. And then we just go back into the body, like right there. How will this look? That's pretty mustachy, right? I don't think that's bad, especially if you do the another one over there. Yeah, I think that'll work. So, come up from the same stitch. And then we'll go around this one. Like that. And then back into the body. Like this. Yeah, that looks like a mustache, right? Should I double that up, you think? Or do you think that's enough? I think that's pretty good. Let's see what it looked like if with the chef hat. I think that's actually pretty good for a mustache. I could make it a little thicker, but I don't think we necessarily need to. I would love to hear what the chat thinks, though. If you think we should make this a thicker stash. We could also try... I could try needle felting the stash on, too. That would be an alternative option here. Swampish chef? I like that. Bork bork. He is looking like a Swedish chef. Which you know how I feel about Muppets. I'm always down for a Muppet reference. I don't know. What do you think? A little what about a little pink tongue? I like that, AG. I like that. I think a little pink tongue would be everything. I think that's it. Okay. I think I'm happy with the way the stash looks. Yeah. And then we'll do a little pink tongue in it. I think that would be really, really cute. This music sounds like I'm going to preschool. There we go. Nice. Yeah, you guys are agreeing with the tongue? Cool. All right, I'll add the tongue and then we'll add the extra stuff. Okay, we got some pink yarn here. We don't need very much. I just need like this much. All right. I think we'll just go down to like here. I don't know. Might be easier just to make it come out of that stitch like this. Let's see. I'm worried this is not going to look like it's connected to the mouth though. Actually, it does kind of look like that. Does that look weird? Do I have to double it up? If I double that up, will it look weird? Should it go off to the side more? Yeah, he's definitely given Swedish Chef for sure. I'll make it come off just slightly to the side like this. Let's see how that looks. Like that. And then I can double that up. I think that's pretty good. What do you think? Does it look like a tongue? I like it. I think I like the tongue. Yeah, I think I like the tongue. We're going to keep it. He's gonna need a spatula? Okay. What about a spatula with a fly on the end, like it's actually a fly swatter? That would be funny. I wonder if I can make that. We can try it. I like that though. Okay, next up is the customization. What's your color of accent color that you voted on? We chose red for the accent color. All right, you got it. I think we need to do a couple things with this accent color. One, I think we need to add the eyelids. Definitely a bottom eyelid. Maybe a top eyelid. Let's just start with the bottom eyelid and see how that looks. And then also dots. I think we need dots and spots around our little guy. So like that. And we just have the eyelid come around like this. I just don't want it to get in the way of our mustache. So maybe like right there. Let's see how this looks. That. Maybe a top eyelid. I mean, I really like the bottom ones for sure. They're very cute. So I'll just go ahead and double knot that. And then if I want to add a top one, I'll just add it with another piece of yarn. Okay. I think I like the accent. It just adds a little bit of color to him, which is pretty nice. It makes him look really sweet, actually, with the red. It makes him look like a little like he's just got red cheeks or something. We actually ended up kind of making it look like a bit of a poisonous dart frog, also. So we did a little bit of both. Poisonous dart frog chef. He's making a souffle. Damn, girl, you're on it. That's perfect. Yeah, I like that. I think that's really good. It's just a little bit of customization, but it really adds a lot to the. I think it adds a lot to the look. And then we'll just do some dots using bouillon knots. I'm liking it though. Okay, let's do a dot right back here with a bouillon knot. Just one right there. And then maybe another one under it. Or I guess we could just do like, you know what? We'll add dots later. We'll add dots at the end because it'll be a little easier to know exactly where we want to add the dots. Do we want to sew the hat on now is the question on everyone's minds. We can sew the hat on right now, or we can sew that on later. We'll sew it on later. Let's put it off to the side. Okay, let's keep crocheting it. And we'll come back to add the hat and to add the detail after we finished up our pattern, which means we need more orange yarn. So 1 second. All right. And you know the sound. We gotta take this off of it. Oh, we got some weird fuzz in there. Huh. That is strange. I got like lint in my yarn. There we go. I think this yarn's been sitting in my belly button for too long. All right. Oh wow, it was under the yarn itself. Huh, weird. That's so weird. See if I can cut that out. I've never seen this before. It's like it got like attacked by a little bit of blue. There we go. Oh, it's so strange. Okay. Well, whatever. It happens. All right, let's keep on keeping on. All right, next round I'm on, if you're crocheting a frog right now, I'm currently on round 7. Right? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to do bobble up here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, 4 is good, I think. Yeah. All right, there's 1 foot. Let's do our next foot. That'll be right here. 2, 3, and 4. Nice. Yeah. Hello, Zoo. Zoo Phoenix? I think I said that right. Is there time for a souffle? I think we can make a. I think we'll try something. 1. How many stitches between legs? 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 1 Okay. For here, do we have enough for one more leg? I think we do. And then we'll change colors in the back. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's looking pretty good. Hello, what are we making right now? We're making a chef frog. Earlier we made this beautiful coaster for a lily pad that is also a coaster. And now we're making a little chef frog. And then after that we're gonna make a little flower for our lily pad. That is pretty good. Okay. 1 and 2. All right, we just need a little bit more yarn. We need to change yarns just for the last round. What a bummer. Oh well. 1. What is our last round? I think it's 1 decrease. Yeah, okay. I'm going to use this for stuffing in a second. All right. We're almost done with the crocheting portion of our little frog. And then we need to customize it with our dots and spots. And then we can add our hat, and then I guess we can make some some other customizations, like adding a. Ooh, how would I make a spatula fly thingy? It'd be easiest if I had like plastic or something. Oh wait, no, that'd be complicated. Anybody in the chat have any ideas? How can we make a fly swatter / spatula? I'm going to stuff up our head just a bit with their regular stuffing right now. All right, decreasing. This is when I use sharp decreases a lot. So remember earlier I was talking about the differences of decreases and when you'd want to use one over another. This is the perfect time to use a sharp decrease at the very bottom of your crochet, just to make sure everything is really flat and he sits perfectly upright. Again, not the most necessary, but it does help. Definitely helps. Do I have a plastic canvas? Oh, I don't. What does a souffle even look like? I don't even know what a souffle looks like. Boy, don't even know what a souffle looks like. Let me look up a souffle. Souffle. Oh yes, it's like a little cake in a dish. Okay, we can make a souffle. We can totally make a souffle. And just toss a fly on the top. Let's do that. Instead of making the spatula, let's do a souffle with a little fly on the top of it. All right, let's stuff this guy up a little bit. Boy, I got hiccups. I can use a little bit more stuffing. You know what? Let's go ahead and throw the extra orange yarn in there as our extra stuffing. I need a smaller crochet hook here. All right. And we'll do 3 magnets on the inside. And then we'll go ahead and sew this closed before we start customizing it. Okay. Nice. Right back in the tutor and then up back. Okay. All right, now we get to customize our frog a little bit. Let's start with our dots and spots a little bit. So I think I want one spot like right here somewhere, or maybe closer to the back. We're gonna use our red yarn for this so that it matches our eyelids. We don't need to go too crazy with these spots. I just want to add like 2 spots basically. Maybe like one right here and then one like right above it right there. Yeah, let's go with these 2 stitches. That's good because they're like kind of separated from each other. So we'll go right here. And I was going to use a bullion knot for this, but I actually think it might be easier to just do a simple like into one stitch, out the other, and then repeat that like 3 times. So that way it's like, I just think it'll look a little cleaner. Be more 3-dimensional too. And maybe I actually do have enough yarn for a second spot with just this other end. So we're just going to go a little bit above it right here. And I'm just going to go into the stitch to the left of it. And we're just going to do a couple stitches here. Hopefully we got enough red yarn for this. 1, I think 2, honestly. Yeah, I think 2 is enough. Come back to the other end. I like that. Just enough of spots to give it a little customization. Not that it needs any more customization, but we gave it to him anyhow. Double knot. All right. So now we've got our frog pretty much done there. We just need to sew on his chef hat. And the chef hat's got to be kind of tilted, right? Like that. It's got to be. That's perfect. Okay. That's beautiful. You're a beautiful boy. You're a beautiful froggy. I love you, Mr. Chef. And we're not going to sew this hat on, honestly, too detailed. Gosh, I don't like this song at all. We're going to go to the next one. There we go. It should have been a bullion knot because he's a chef. That's so funny. What is my favorite thing to crochet? Probably goblins. KK. That's my favorite. I really like crocheting goblins. All right, so this needs to be pulled in a little bit. And we're just gonna sew this on really, really simple. So we're just gonna go into this stitch. We'll come out through, honestly, I'm just gonna come out through the center. Go over here. That. And yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go around. I'm just going to go around the inside of one of these stitches. And then I'll do one more stitch. Let's go like right there. Like that. Oh, pull it tight enough so it hides in there, though. Or was it supposed to be like that? That's, you know what? That's fine. And we'll go around this stitch. Back into the body. Maybe. And then we'll come out through the other tail end. There we go. And I just want to pull it tight enough so it stays in there. Nice. That's pretty good. All right, let's double knot these two together and then give him a little souffle. Oh, and we need to vote on the name. So if you guys have name suggestions, now or never. I love that hat, though. Honestly, that's looking pretty great. Maybe make the hat... No, the hat needs to kind of tilt more like that way. Yeah, let me go ahead and just mess with those baubles a little bit more. So they're more like... Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that helped. That's pretty good so far. Love the red eyes. He's got the 2 dots on the back. A little bit of customization. We are crocheting a little frog in a little chef frog right now, Hattie. Okay, next we're going to make... Oh, he does look like a little pumpkin toadlet. We need to make a little tiny souffle for him. So the souffle, how are we going to do this? You know, I think we'll just make it really easy. I don't think we're going to complicate things too much. So we'll just do a single crochet 6 around... Yeah, I got an idea. We'll still make it look like a souffle. I probably should have used maybe like a richer brown, though. Yeah, you know what? Let's use a richer brown so that it differentiates from the mustache. So it's not so stashy. So, actually, this one's pretty good. Use this. Yeah, that looks delicious. Delicious yarn. It's just really thin. So we might actually have to increase it up. Let's find out, though. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I probably should have doubled this yarn up. That's really tiny. Actually, maybe we'll make the souffle in 2 parts. I got an idea for this. We'll make like the souffle part itself a piece. And we'll just increase it up. And then we'll make a little cup for the souffle to go in. And then we'll crochet a fly to go on top of it. We'll probably just make a fly really simple by using like a bullion knot and a little bit of white yarn. Like how we did, I made a cow pie a while back. It'd be similar. Do we do live streams like this often? Yes, every Friday, starting the same time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do another live stream. So if you want to join next Friday, we'll be live again. In fact, I think next Friday is our season finale for the Woolly Woods, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to take a break from making this souffle part. Actually, you know what? I'll do a round of just single crochets really quick. It's really hard to work with this little itty bitty yarn, to be honest. Did I miss a stitch? I sure did. How could I? I thought I was a professional. There we go. And I want to make the little cup that this goes in just a little bit smaller than the actual souffle is, so it looks kind of like it's overflowing before we add a fly on top of it. Nice. Okay. And I might make this bigger and like sew it closed and together. But before I do that, let's make the little cup for it. It'll help us dictate how big our souffle part would be. So I think the cup, I'm just going to make it pretty simple. I might do half double crochet so that the edges of the cup look a little bit different, but 4, 5, 6. Let's see what 6 looks like. Is that about the same size as the cup? Yeah, it is. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. Just 6. Is that too small? No, I think that's pretty good. All right, 6 works. We'll slip stitch that together. And then I'm going to chain 1, 2, and we'll work in those top loops only. And then I'm just going to do half double crochets all the way across. And the reason I'm doing half double crochets rather than single crochets here for the pros out there is because I want the stitches to look a little bit different than what we've had before, so it looks more like the edges of a cup, you know, so just so that it differentiates from the other ones. I also am kind of considering doing an extra stitch in this one to make it just slightly bigger. See, so that'll be the cup, and then this will go in the cup like that. This. Yeah, I don't think we need to make this cup any bigger. Okay. You know what, fine. We'll do a half double in this last slip stitch. And then we'll slip stitch together, cut, and hide the ends. Looks like a mess, but it's going to be useful. All right. Let's hide this end in. There. Okay. Nice. That looks pretty good, actually, for the little cup. And then we'll just cut these two ends with my extremely dull scissors. Oh, thank you, Cookin' Mama. Appreciate you. All right, so there's our little cup. Honestly, I think that's pretty good. And then now we just need this part before we add a fly to it. And then we can make our flower for a lily pad as our final project for today. And it looks like we're going to finish it before the sun goes down, which is exactly what I was hoping for. I probably should be crocheting this with a smaller... You know what? Let's just use this hook. I hope now it's not too late to use this hook, but I just think it'll make our life a little easier. Yeah, that's a little bit easier. This yarn is so silky smooth. Okay, we're going to need to sew this closed and then really shove it in there. And I just want it to be like overflowing just the like littlest bit. Like that kind of. Yeah, actually that's going to be... I think that's going to work really well. Okay. Let's see what we can do here though. I think I need one more round of single crochets here for this. And I think this yarn was the perfect choice because it's really squishy. So I think it'll look really good and squishy coming out the top of the cup. Yes, what Zoe said, if you got any more good name suggestions, please throw them in the chat. We're collecting name suggestions for this little frog, and we're going to vote on it in just a moment. All right. How many more do we got? Maybe one more stitch here. And do we decrease it or not? Yeah, we could decrease it. Yeah, basically just making a little ball that we're then going to get into this cup. Where's the end of our round? Actually, we have 2 more stitches to finish this round up, so let's do that. 1 and 2. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Essa. Yeah, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider it. We do live streams like this every Friday. Just hit the little bell icon so you don't miss it when we come out with live streams, by the way, which we do pretty often. And then if you want to get some of our crochet patterns, check out our website, clubcrochet.com. This frog pattern that we made today is a free pattern on the website. So you can find it at clubcrochet.com/frog. 3 more decreases and we'll be done with the souffle part. Maybe I should make the fly before we sew this into the cup. Actually, yeah, we definitely need to make the fly first. I think. Yeah. Any more decreases? 1 more decrease. Okay. That out. And I need we need our stuffing stick. Here it is. Ooh, this is fighting us here. There we go. Okay. And I'll add just a little bit more stuffing to that too. Because I don't want our souffle to fall. Is that what it's called? Fall? What is it called when the souffle like doesn't what is it called when the souffle it falls, right? Or does it like deflate? I can't remember what it's called. That probably hasn't happened to this chef in years, though. I feel like they know how to make a souffle on the fly. Because they're just that kind of guy. Little itsy bitsy bit more stuffing. We're being very conservative with our stuffing today. We do not want our souffle overstuffed. There we go. Deflate? Is it called deflating? Zoo Phoenix said they did it. What'd you do? Did you make a frog? Oh my god, I hope that's what it was. Make a frog. Alright, now we're just gonna sew this closed best I can. It's just really hard to see what I'm doing here. It's so tiny. All right. Last one. Like that. Pull that closed. Do we pull this in? Yeah, you know what, whatever. We can cut it close. So we're just going to pull this right to the middle there. And then we need to add a fly to this. And we really need to get this into our piece too. So I'm just going to kind of stretch it open a little bit more. Might be best to add our fly first though. And then pull it down like that. See, because we want it to be like more flat like that. It's not bad though. Honestly, that's pretty good. Okay, let's pull that in a little bit more. And let's make our fly to go on top of it. So we need black yarn for that. And honestly, flies are not nearly as hard as you'd think they are to make. All you need to do is, now we will be making our bullion knot. I'll come out through, you know what, actually we gotta pull this back out. We're gonna come out through the side of this and through the top right here. We're gonna start with the bullion knot. One, two, three. In through an adjacent stitch. Actually, we'll just go right through the center. Out through the same stitch as that last one, so we have something to knot to. And then I always pull my bullion knots back out so that I can adjust them a little bit more. Like that. Okay, and then we'll put both of these ends in. Nice. Okay, so now we got just this black dot on top of our souffle. Double knot these two ends. Hide them in. Okay. Nice. These are not our little stick to get that knot back in there. Get on in there, boy. There you go. Nice. Okay. So now, see, we got this little black dot on the top. Perfect. Now we need to add little wings to it. So we're going to grab some white yarn. And wings are going to be made using we're just going to make basically a couple loops here right under the bullion knot. It's coming out through like the side of the bullion knot there. Pull that back out. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to make a little tiny loop. Go in through the side of this and out through the opposite side. Like that. And then do the same. A loop and the inside. And then out through where the other end is. Maybe. We're just going to be gentle with it. Nice. Right? Little tiny fly. And I'm not even going to double knot these. I'm just going to cut it. And we're just going to be really gentle. And we might need to fix those wings in a second too, but that's okay. I'm just going to pull this in the inside here. And I'm going to try to stretch the ends of our cup around our souffle like this. Try to stuff it in there as much as I can. Oh, it doesn't want to really go in there. Hold on. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of this inside bits. And you know, oh wait, this might work. This might work. I'm going to unfold the cup. Yeah, this actually might work. We'll unfold the cup first. Let's cut that a little bit. Then we'll pull the souffle in there. And then we'll wrap the souffle. Here, I'm gonna like basically knot the souffle on the bottom of it so it doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm gonna wrap the souffle in the cup. So kind of doing it the opposite way. Instead of putting the souffle into the cup, we're gonna put the cup around the souffle. This is how chefs think, probably. Okay, we'll just come out through the side. Oh. Okay, well, kind of messed that up. That's all right. Whatever. Whatever. Let's try this again. Place the cup on the bottom. And we're just going to fold it around the souffle. Yeah. Nice. Oh my gosh, this actually looks pretty good. Why is this working? Why is this working? Here we go. Hey, there we go. There is our souffle. I would say that looks like a pretty not too bad souffle. What do you guys think in the chat? Can you tell it's a fly on the top? I think you can. Right? There we go. I think that looks pretty good, honestly. I'm a fan. And now we've got our little tiny frog. Which we need to name. So let's go ahead and choose a name. And as you guys are voting on a name, I will get working on the next part of our piece. So we got, oh boy, okay, we got some name suggestions here. Oof, okay. Okay, one. I like that one. I like... Sure. I don't get that one, but I like it still. Let's go with this one. Oopsies. I'm just gonna take out the Okay. Alright, so we got our name suggestions. Name our chef frog. 1, 2, boop, boop, 3, and 4. Okay. Name options are you can go with Jumpy Oliver. We got Bork Bork. We got Emerald Le Frogsy and Antody Bourdain. All right, so those are your name suggestions. Go ahead and vote now in the chat. And while you're voting on that name, we're going to get back to our tutorial. We're going to put our frog to the side just like this. And let's work on a tutorial for a little flower. So I need to find what a lily flower looks like. Lily flower. Not a lily flower, sorry, a lily pad flower. Lily pad flower. Yeah, okay, so that's what I thought. So we need pink for this. Maybe yellow too. Actually, how would I do that? We could do yellow, and then we could surround it in pink flowers. I'm thinking like we crochet, and then we'll do like the flowers around it. I just don't want it to be too big. Let's try... All right, we're going to go back into tutorial mode a bit here to try to make our flower here. Okay, so we've crocheted our little frog. The chat is currently voting on the name of our little chef frog, which is adorable. And we also made him a little souffle, a souffly that he made because he's cute and that's just the way he is. Now we're going to try to make a little flower to go on top of our lily pad, and I'm just gonna customize this going off the cuff. I'm gonna start with a magic loop, and I'm gonna start by single crocheting 6 times into the magic loop. So pretty easy start. 6 single crochets into our magic loop to get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll pull that nice and tight. Okay. Next, we're going to work only in the back loop. So we're going to work into the loop furthest away from us right here. And we're going to do an increase. Yeah, we'll do an increase into... You know what? No, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first and then an increase into the next, repeated 3 times to go up from 6 stitches to 9 stitches. So we'll go into the first one here, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first. I'm going to work around my tail end as I do that. Just make sure to work only in that back loop. So we got 1 single crochet in the first, and then we'll do an increase in the next, 1 and 2 like that. And then we're going to do that 2 more times. 1 single crochet in the first, and then increase into the next, 1 and 2. And then our last one, we'll do 1 single crochet in the first, and then our increase into the next, 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, I like that. Next up, we're going to do another round of increasing. This time we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase repeated 3 times around, still working only in that back loop. So in the back loop furthest away from us, we're doing 1 and 2 single crochets and then our increase. So 2 in the same stitch for the next stitch, 1 and 2 like that. So 2 single crochets, 1 increase repeated 3 times total, 1, 2, and then our other increase right here, 1, 2, and then last one, 1, 2, and then our final increase right here, 1 and 2. All right. I think I like this. I like where we're going with that. Okay, next up, let's see, is this big enough for a flower? I think it is. All right, so next up, we're gonna work into the back loop of the next stitch here and do a slip stitch. Okay, and then we're gonna turn our piece around and let's chain 1. Okay, so now we chained 1, and now we want to work into those on the front loops all the way around to create our petals. And we're just going to make this up as we go. Let's start by doing let's do a half double crochet in the first one. So that's going to be right here. We'll do 1 half double crochet to start us off. And then we'll chain 1. And let's do another half double crochet in the same stitch. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to do a slip stitch into the next one. Notice how I'm working only in the furthest loop from us, though. That's really important. Okay, so let's try doing that all the way around. We're going to chain 1. This is the repeat. We chain 1, we work into the front loop. We're going to do a half double crochet, and then a chain 1. And then another half double crochet in the same stitch, like that. And then a slip stitch into the next stitch. Let's see how that does. That's nice. That'll create like this little petal thing going all the way around, which I think is exactly what we want. It's just, now I'm wondering, do I want to be a little sharper of edges? Maybe we do. Yeah, let's make them a little bit sharper of edges. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to undo that. Let's try this again. Okay. So we chain 1. Here, let me redo this round completely for us. Okay, so I'm going to pick up right after we have slip stitched into our piece. So I'm going to undo that. And we'll finish with that slip stitch, and then I'll continue the pattern from there. So we slip stitch into the back loop of the next. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and turn our piece around. And we're going to work only in the furthest loop from us. So the one furthest away from us right here. We're going to create our petals all the way around. We'll be doing the following repeat. We're going to start by doing a half double crochet in the next, working only in the furthest stitch right there. So 1 half double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and pull that chain really tight like that. That's what's going to create our point. You just pull that chain, those 2 chains tight. Then we're going to do 1 more half double crochet in the same stitch we just worked into right here. Like that. Okay? And then we'll slip stitch into the next stitch right here. Nice. All right, and we're just going to repeat that process all the way around. We're going to chain 1, half double crochet 1 into the next stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, pull tight, half double crochet 1 more into the same stitch, like that, and then slip stitch into the next stitch over right there. And this is going to create these little petals that will go all the way around. And we're going to do that at least for this first round. We might make smaller petals as we get closer to the top though. But let's just keep doing this around for right now and see how it turns out. Chain 2, pull tight. We'll half double crochet 1 in the same, and then slip stitch 1 into the next. Chain 1, half double crochet, chain 2, pull tight, half double crochet in the same stitch, slip stitch into the next. Okay, chain 1, double, chain 2, pull tight, half double in the same stitch, and then slip stitch in the next. Okay, and see, that's creating this little first line of flowers. We're going to do that again in the next round. One, chain 2, pull tight, half double in the same stitch, slip stitch into the next one right here. All right. Okay, so there's going to be the end of that first round of that. Let's keep doing that. We're going to do that for one more round around the exact same technique. So again, that's chain 1. And then now we're working into these ones up the edge here. We do a half double crochet 1, chain 2, pull tight, half double in the same stitch. Like that. And then slip stitch into the next one over right here. And see, that's creating a second layer of our petals around. Chain 1, next stitch right here, and then chain 2, pull tight in the same stitch, half double, and then slip stitch into the next one right here. All right, yeah, I like how that's coming together. All right, chain 2, tight, half double in the same stitch. Okay, and then we'll slip stitch 1. Okay, we got a few more stitches to do this with. Chain 1, half double here. Okay, so we're going to make just a couple more of these petals, and then we're going to make these petals a little bit smaller for our last round. The last slip stitch there. Let's see how our bits coming together there. All right, I think we can do... Yeah, okay, so now we're going to change it up and make our petals slightly smaller. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 petals of these larger petals. Now we're going to make our petals slightly smaller as we get closer to the center. So now we're going to still chain 1, but this time we're going to do a single crochet. So we'll do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, still working in those unused back loops. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 2, pull that tight, and then single crochet in the same stitch again. Okay, so there you go, like that. And then slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch right here. And now we'll continue doing that all the way around. So chain 1, single crochet 1, chain 2, pull tight, single crochet in the same stitch, slip stitch 1 into the next. Okay, we're coming to the end there. That's looking like a nice lily pad flower, I think. Let's keep going. Chain 1, and next stitch right here. We're going all the way to the end. 1, chain 2 and pull tight, and then single crochet in the same stitch. Slip stitch into the next one right here. And then our final one, chain 1, single crochet 2, or single crochet 1, chain 2, and then single crochet in the same stitch. And then slip stitch into our final front loop only right here. Like that. All right, now we're going to cut the yarn. You don't need a very long end, I don't think. Pull that all the way through. And I'm just going to stuff that center back down into the piece a little bit more. And we're going to pull up all of our petals like that a little bit. And then let's hide this end in, and then we're going to add just some yellow fray on the inside for more of like the center of the flower. So let's go ahead and take our needle here. And we don't need to get too crazy with this end. We're just going to pull this straight into the same stitch right here, right on the inside. Like that. And then we'll just double knot it to this other end and cut both of these close. Just 1 and 2 like that. We'll cut that nice and close there. Okay, now we want to add just some yellow on the inside here to create like the inside of the flower. So what we'll do with that is we're going to take some of your yellow yarn here, and I'm going to start by actually creating a slip knot. So I'm going to take my loop around the end and create a little knot on itself like this. And we'll cut the yarn. You don't need a very long end, I don't think. That's probably going to be fine. And we're just going to pull this part through the very center of our slip knot, and then pull that nice and tight like that. And that's just going to create this little knot, which should be too big to go out of the center. So that's our goal here, is we want to make sure that it can't come through the very center of our piece. I think that's probably good. And I'll thread both of these ends on our needle. Here, I'll cut this one closer to match the other one, so it's a little easier to thread on our needle. Thread that. And I'm going to go straight through the very center of the inside of our flower and out through the top like that. And it shouldn't pull out because of that knot. And now we can cut these closer. I'm going to cut it just a little bit closer to the center. So like right here is fine. There's 1. Let's do another one right there. 2. And I'm going to do that a couple more times so that we have a decent amount of little bits coming out of the inside. I think 3 of these should be enough. That. All right. And now we're going to thread all these on our needle. Beautiful. Through the center, the same stitch. Okay. And we'll cut these ones the same length. Should we do one more? Yeah, let's do one more. Okay. Pull that through itself. Create a knot. I'm so proud that this is working out. I think this is very cool. And then down through that center one more time. Like that. Okay, now we're going to cut these shorter. And then let's thread these inside bits. So we're going to take our needle here and we're going to split the yarn a little bit. So I'm going to go right in the center of the yarn and just kind of split it into little tinier parts, which kind of like frays the ends a little bit and makes it look like there's even more of these little bits of the center of the flower coming out. And then we're going to cut these a little shorter. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Stuff that back in the inside there. And now I think what we can do is I just want to cut the outside ones so that it's a little smaller on the outside than it is on the inside of this yellow parts. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a trim on the insides. Okay. All right, so that's going to be the basis of crocheting our little lily pad flower. You can see how that's going to look on there. Honestly, seriously, pretty good for a improvised pattern there. But there's one little part of this that I don't like. And I mean, we could sew this onto the lily pad just straight up like that. And I think that would be really, really cute. How many small petals did we make? Asks Cooper in the chat. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 9, 10. We did 1, 2, 3. Only 4. Only 4 little petals. So we could just sew this directly onto the lily pad like that. But I think what would be really nice is if we could close this in and add our little mini magnets to this lily pad, then we can, or to the flower, then we can take the flower on and off like how we want. So we're going to take our crochet hook here, and I'm going to pull a pink loop through one of our first end right here. And then we're going to do a decrease. Let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so this is going to be our first stitch. All right, so let's grab some pink yarn. And we're going to do something called a sharp decrease here. We're going to pull a loop through that stitch and create a chain like this. Pull it nice and tight there. And we're going to do a sharp decrease in the next 6 stitches in a row. So we're going to pull a loop through the next stitch right here. And we're going to yarn over, pull a loop through that. And then we're going to go into the next stitch over right here. Pull a second loop through and take that second loop and pull it through the first 2 like that. And we're going to do that for every single stitch all the way around. So let's do another one right here. We want next stitch over, pull a loop through. And don't worry about this little tail end. We're just going to hide that on the inside. We'll use it as stuffing. There we go. Pull a loop through, and then the next stitch right here, pulling a second loop through, pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. There's 2 decreases. We want 6 of these. There's 3. And 4. And then here is 5. Like that. And then our last one's going to be right here. 1. And see there's like a little loop right there into that one. And that'll be our 6th decrease around. And now we're just going to cut the yarn. We don't need a very long end. This is just going to be for sewing it closed, and pull it all the way through. Now we'll add our little mini magnets in there. We're going to do 3 mini magnets, and I want to make sure that the polarity of these magnets matches the inside. So that means this is going to be the top of our magnet. We're going to keep track of that. Place it right in the top of that, just like this. Nice. Okay, and then we're just going to sew. You know what? Let's just do 2 magnets. I don't think we need all 3. I think we can get away with just 2. It'll sit a little flatter then too. And now we're just going to sew this closed. So we're going to thread this on our needle. And we'll go through the front loops only of all the decreases that you made. So we're going to start right here. We'll go 1. 2. 3, 4, 5, and then last one right here, 6. We'll pull this nice and tight to close that up. And then let's hide it back on the inside and then out somewhere on the front of our lily or our flower. Pull that so it's as, I really want this as flat as I can make it. And then we'll cut this nice and short. Okay, now let's fix our flower up a bit. I'm going to stuff the inside one in a little bit, make those all the petals kind of sticking upwards, and then we're going to fix this little inside bit a little bit too, so just to make it a little cleaner. That looks pretty good. And then we'll place it on our lily pad. Moment of truth. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm so glad that worked. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That looks really good, I think. Wow. I'm really proud of that. And then we could move it to the other one. Oh no, the other one, the magnetic polarity of the other one is actually backwards. So then our frog can sit here. Sit backwards like that too. And there we go. We have a little lily pad coaster with removable flower and frog. And it should fit. Where is our cup? Here it is. Should fit. Oh, that's great. Isn't that great? Wow. I love it. Oh my gosh. That actually totally worked. I'm so proud of that. That is so cool. And that just sits there, and look, you can see it doesn't come off. Same as the frog. They sit there and they don't come off. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, last thing we want to do now is we want to see what the chat voted on for our frog, our chef frog with his little souffle. What did we name our frog? We'll end the vote. And the winning name is Aunt Toady Bourdain. It's perfect. And he's also got a little magnet in it, so we can actually replace him like that. He can sit on this flower too with his little souffle. Put that frog there too. Oh, that's so cute. Look at, they're like sitting over the table for food. I love it. That's so cool. I'm so proud of that. That is so cool that I just did that on like live. That's so cool. All right, guys. Let's move that. That's so neat. I'm just so proud of that. I'm just so proud. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. I know it was a little different than normal live streams, but I really am proud of what we made today. I think it's really, really cool. Like, not only this lily pad coaster is awesome, but look at our cute little frog. He's just too cute. Aunt Toady Bourdain. Love him. Love him. All right, team. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be live again next Friday. We're going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with our season finale of our Woolly Woods season. If you like what's going on here, please like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the little bell icon so you don't miss when we come out with new videos. We're going to be back live again next Friday. If you want to check out more patterns like our mini, our firefly or our little tiny goblins or little gnomes, they're all on the website at clubcrochet.com/woods. You can get our new seasonal kit there as well. What else? Please consider getting a membership. We're going to add this pattern to the website as soon as I possibly can. I need to edit it all together and stuff. And oh, last thing, this is special for the stream. I want to show you what we're working on for our next pattern. We're looking for testers right now. But for reference, this is what is coming very soon at Club Crochet. If you have a membership, you're going to get early access. It will be a membership exclusive, but we've made little tiny gnome homes. So this is coming out very soon. I finished recording the video last night, and see the top actually comes off of the gnome home. So you can put things like dice or whatever you really want into the gnome home itself. I actually have this one with a little gnome. This is Gnomerelia. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So that is what's coming very soon to the website. Again, if you want to get access to that, check it out at clubcrochet.com when it comes out. Get a membership. You'll get early access. And if you want to help me test this pattern out, check the email that you might have gotten from me today, and there's a link to help test this out. So I'm looking for some testers, only a few of them, so go ahead and sign up now. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Pasta la pizza. Pasta la pizza. Happy hooking, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh my gosh, stop. You hang up first. Oh my gosh. You're making me blush. I mean, it's just such a ridiculous ending. I can't stop doing it now. Thanks, guys. Bye.